Everyone. It's Emil. It's Emil Guillermo. This is my a version of my Emil Mux Takeout, a special Emil Mux Takeout because I have a special guest, and it's appropriate because it's my birthday and October 9th, and I met this fellow uh, so many years ago, and he was at one of my birthday parties in when I was in graduate school in St. Louis, and he's the one and only Ishmael Reed. Ishmael, welcome.
Emil, thank you very much.
Hey, I'm astonished that we have been on this planet for as long as we have, and it's my honor to call you a friend and to have you on this show. So,
Well, thank you
uh,
very much. I appreciate that, Emil.
and it's on the occasion of your new play, the Amanuensis. It's a stage reading. It's going to happen at Theater 33, and you can get tickets at theater33.com. And Theater 33 is at 533 Sutter Street in San Francisco. But the play, amanuensis, it's not a common word. How would you explain it to people? What's an amanuensis?
Somebody who takes a dictation, and the term was used by H.L. Mencken,
I see.
who did works on the American language and was probably the greatest satirist of the 20th century.
Right. The great
And
writer.
he pointed out that the Uncle Remus tales were not written by Joel Chandler Harris, or they were not created by Joel Chandler Harris. He wrote them down
Mhm.
from the slaves, or the enslaved, as they say nowadays, on the Turnwall plantation, which was owned by Joseph Addison Turner,
Mhm.
the only newspaper man to have a plantation in the South. And he published a pro-Confederate newspaper called The Countryman. The Countryman. So,
Yeah.
so while others, like even black uh, intellectuals like Booker T. Washington and James Weldon Johnson gave him credit for the stories, they were not his stories.
So amanuensis is really it's not even a compliment. It's a slap that
Yeah.
Mencken used for to Joel Chandler Harris. And why did you feel it was important in 2025 to bring this to light and to do this play?
Well, a number of reasons. First of all, I've always been concerned about whites getting credit for black creations,
Mm,
which has been a problem for as long as even before, I guess, even before the invasion.
yeah.
And that's one of my concerns because I've been ripped off.
Mm,
As a matter of fact, in my new novel, my persona is called Secretariat, who
the
is
horse.
the horse, and my uh, my character stand-in says that he's made more money for white men than all of the prize-winning horses combined. So he calls himself Secretariat.
Well,
As a writer, you get it, a writer,
yeah,
Secretariat.
yeah.
So, so that's one of my concerns. And I think also the inability of whites during that period to handle the emancipation of the slaves is something that's carried over to this period. As a matter of fact, I just turned for a blurb I wrote for Eddie Glaude. He has a show on MSNBC, sent me his new book.
Yeah.
I said that this is sort of like an antebellum administration, the antebellum restoration, where powerful white men controlled the lives of women and minorities. So, but if you read the authors at the time, including Joel Chandler Harris, they believed in white supremacy, Anglo supremacy specifically. And so for this play, I've read Thomas Nelson Page, Thomas Dixon, who wrote The Klansman, which was the source for the movie The Klansman or the Birth of a Nation, excuse me, and also Joe Chandler Harris and a figure that he admired very much named Grady, who was the editor of the Atlantic Constitution, who believed that blacks and whites had different origins, even. So they had all kind of arguments to buttress up this idea for the plantation for holding people in slavery, and so that was another point. And the other thing was to like reclaim and refashion these stories that probably originated in Nigeria.
Hmm. So it goes back to Africa. These,
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Brer Rabbit, Uncle Remus,
Yeah, or you can find
and
that.
and
They,
just a
they, they
yeah,
just use different animals in Africa, like hyenas,
yeah.
different, but the stories are consistent with those that you find in West Africa.
So once again, the amanuensis about someone who's writing down this is like setting the record straight. The
Mhm.
guy who's getting the credit for all
Mhm.
these stories, Joel Chandler Harris, Song of the South, is not the originator. I mean, he
Right,
might have
right,
taken the note, but who
right.
was his source? And his source for people of color.
Yeah, well, Aunt Chrissy, Old Harbord, and George Terrell, who are identified,
Hmm.
as the creators of the. I mean, what he did, he took the three and made them a composite for Uncle Remus.
And so by setting the record straight, I mean, to this day, Joel Chandler Harris is still, even though Mencken took the swipe at him years ago,
Mm-hmm.
Joel Chandler Harris is still seen as the originator, right? Still
Yes, of
seen
course.
as,
Yeah, uh, yeah. He still considered that, and he made well. He was comfortable. He was comfortable because and famous. Walt Disney paid him $10,000 for the stories,
Mhm.
which is something like $243,000, I think, in 2024.
Yeah.
So he made money. Walt Disney made a lot of money. He financed some of the other movies
Mhm.
from Song of the South. That made millions of dollars. And so in my story or my play, the play, which you're a character in the play, of
Yeah.
course. You've been a character in the plays all the way back to the first run in my plays. But in Brer Rabbit and Sis Fox, we made a gender change there.
Mhm.
Sis Fox kidnapped Joel Chandler Harris and the three slaves from whom he borrowed the stories or took the stories, asked for some money, asked for payment.
Yeah. They're just trying to set the record straight and
Absolutely.
trying to get compensated,
Yeah.
right?
They're
And
trying to get compensated, right?
and you can go back to, you mentioned how this happens all the time. I mean, when the blues guys get ripped off all the time,
Mhm.
when Led Zeppelin plays their thing,
Right,
and where do they get the blues? I mean, they
right.
didn't get the blues in England, you
Yeah.
know,
Well,
when
Elvis Presley ripped off some black creators and songwriters, and they a couple of some of them died broke
yeah,
without any money. So after the war during emancipation, the creators of the stories returned to sharecropping,
yeah,
or I think one of them might have been taken by General Sherman's troops. General Sherman came and burned down that plantation, and so there's a lot of during that period after the war, during emancipation, these whites who were former plantation owners, they really longed for the good old days. As a matter of fact, Joel Chandler Harris wrote a book about his stay on the plantation, the Turnwell Plantation, where he was there for 4 years, really romanticizing the whole thing. And like, the slaves they just had to be almost pried away from slavery by gunpoint. They loved it so. And
yeah.
so
I,
he sort of like covered up some of the cruelties that happened.
yeah, but in your play, so you have the originators, the people who Joel Chandler Harris got the stories from, actually confronting Joel Chandler Harris
Right,
and actually saying, "Hey, look, we're going to get the money out of you somehow."
right.
And they're and that's what makes it a kind of intriguing drama comedy. What would you? How would you characterize it?
I think it's probably a comedy that makes serious points.
Yeah,
Taking a lot of serious issues. For example, how some of the historians slandered the Reconstruction, which brought a lot of positive changes to the South. Like there were changes in transportation. There was changes in infrastructure for the better, public schools, a number of things that the black legislators accomplished.
yeah,
What happened was they were terrorized and driven from office, which is what's happening now, where black legislators and Congress people are being threatened by this antebellum government of being driven from office. I mean, so even an excellent historian like Douglas Brinkley, I spent a couple of days with him in New Orleans when he had some project where he was interviewing the writers. So I went. He brought me to New Orleans. He's a
hmm
very nice guy. I like him, but even he is confined to saying that the president is after Democratic cities. He's prohibited, I guess, on corporate television from saying these are black cities
yeah, yeah.
because that's a
What's
that's a real turnoff for their consumers.
yeah, what's really happening is you see the replacement of or the downgrading of identity politics when
Right.
it's for people of color, blacks,
Right.
Asians, Hispanics, Latinos, and you see the elevation
Yeah.
of white identity
Absolutely.
politics.
Absolutely.
And this is what got me today. White House Office of Communications put this out today on my birthday. Today, October 9th, is Leif Erikson Day.
Yeah.
Official
Yeah.
White House, this is Leif Erikson Day. Let us praise our Nordic Americans for
Yeah.
discovering Newfoundland. I mean, you can go to the White House press secretary's
Right.
website. I got the release. I couldn't believe it. October is also Hispanic Heritage Month. It's also
Right.
Filipino American
Right.
National History Month. It's everything. But what does the Trump administration like to highlight? Hey,
Well,
don't forget, leave.
they practice identity politics all the time. That's why they prefer South Africans to be
Oh yeah,
brought to the
yeah,
United States, and there are neighborhoods in Chicago where you have whites who are undocumented, immigrants, but those neighborhoods are left alone. I mean,
yeah.
they use a Black Hawk helicopter, like a military attack on an apartment building. I
Mhm.
looked at Morning Joe the next day. They spent half an hour on sports.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's just considered status quo to
yeah,
attack the
yeah.
military troops occupy our cities.
I mean, but apropos to your play, the the whites have taken look diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Hmm.
Identity politics is only good if it's white, not if it's
Right, right,
black, not if it's
right,
Filipino, not if it's Asian, not if it's
right.
and so it's almost like Elvis saying, "Hey, blues is good if it's done by me, a Memphis boy, right? It's
Yeah,
not done. It's not rock and roll, right? Bill Haley and the Comets,
right. Oh yeah. Well,
right?
they've always been there because they consider us to be subhuman and incapable of a creation. Matter of fact, I think Thomas Jefferson said that black writers couldn't get above the narrative or something like that. We have no imagination. We can't create anything.
Yeah,
So we, so we are like natural resources for them to refine and develop. Paul Whiteman said, "I'm going to make jazz better." You
yeah,
know, uh, 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 Charles Ives said that blacks provided the ore for ragtime that had to be refined. So we're always out here like raw materials, and it takes them to. I mean, we've been through this. At least the authors, the Southern authors around emancipation, Thomas Page, Nelson, Thomas Dixon, and Joel Chandler Harris, and others were honest.
yeah,
They believed in Anglo-Saxon rule and that blacks would never dominate them.
yeah,
And the fear of a black, or I guess you would say a multicultural insurrection It's
Mhm.
still with us. I mean, you read these,
Yeah.
you read their narratives, and they say, well, what happened in Haiti? I mean, Haiti scared it. That still
Yeah.
resonates. The Haitian Revolution, where they expelled the Europeans, they thought that was going to happen in the United States. And so these writers in their works are talking about, well, it might happen here. There might be an insurrection like in Haiti. And so that's why that's why they have the guns nowadays, because
Yeah.
they're still thinking that, there's going to be a armed revolt that'll overthrow their system.
Yeah. And
That's what
right
the guns are
now,
all. That's what the guns are all about.
yeah. Well, right now they've got a president who believes he can do anything he wants, including whatever pops into his head, and to conflate, immigration and law and order and identity politics. It's all there. He has no
Well, he's getting
problem.
advice. He's getting advice. There's like a sort of like invisible cabinet,
Oh yeah.
not just 2025, but there are some people who believe in eugenics
Oh yeah.
who are whispering in his ear, into his
Well,
ear. And that came up when he ran against Kamala
Calvin Harris. Yeah.
and talked about her being born with a low IQ, and that still comes up. Miss Congresswoman Crockett has a low IQ. So I think some of these sinister personalities are behind the scene talking to him.
Mm,
And that explains some of his policies. There was this guy named Raymond Cattell, a psychologist,
mm,
who believed in genthanasia. In other words, the nonviolent uh, elimination of undesirable groups. American Psychological Association is going to give him a prize. They found out he was a Hitler admirer.
yeah.
But he says, well, maybe the Africans should self-exterminate. So
Ah.
that explains the policy for their cutting off foreign aid.
Yeah.
And a lot of these policies are reflected in this sort of like theory that you can't use force. I mean, gas ovens are too obvious. So what you do is like food deprivation, like they're
Mm,
cutting off food stamps or cutting
yeah.
off, like making embargoes so that people can't get their necessities, like they're using Gaza. That's happening here.
Yeah, it's kind of the perverse uh, sense of soft power, right? The
Right,
kind of
right,
this passive
right,
aggressive
right,
thing
right,
that I mean, because soft power is that yeah, we'll give them the aid, and then they'll be good, and we'll be diplomatically
right.
advancing. But
Well,
the negative part is to be aggressive and to cut off the food because we
oh yeah,
want
yeah.
them.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, there's a special type of cruelty,
yeah.
uh, you know, expressed by people like Steve Miller.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
man.
and I think that I think first generation uh, intellectuals from Asian and other backgrounds are not acquainted with this as blacks and Native Americans. So we've seen the history of this kind of settler cruelty,
Mm,
and I think
yeah.
occasionally it resurfaces. And I think this is an instant of its, coming to bear again once more.
Yeah, I mean the relevancy of amanuensis
Mhm.
to what you, as you put it, the antebellum administration, the
Mhm.
antebellum politics of our day,
Right,
it's really striking. But I think also when you get to the basic thing about hey, Joel Chandler Harris ripped off these black these black stories from from the originators. I mean, we're seeing the ripoff of artists all the time.
right,
AI,
right,
and when you do a freelance piece now,
right.
you sign off rights in perpetu
And, and,
for
and
forever.
perpetuity.
Yeah, right, in perpetuity. Sorry,
Yeah.
I
Well,
I
the Authors Guild, I think, and some other organizations have waged a successful uh, battle against this, and I think people are. I was asked to file a claim because my name is on some of this stuff, this AI stuff.
mhm.
Carla Blank, my wife, so we have to file a claim. and I think authors are able
Yeah.
to do that. But there are things that AI can't do. I have GS Chat.
Yeah.
It's
Chat
wrong a
GPT.
lot. It's wrong a lot of
Oh
times.
yeah, yeah, they're wrong. Yeah, well, they're like sometimes there's a 6 month lag or
Yeah,
a little bit of lag. I mean, when I first went to ChatGPT, it just eliminated anything I did at NPR.
yeah.
Didn't acknowledge any of that, and then later it did. But and I'm surprised at how accurate it can be, but it's also faulty. And
Yeah.
if people are lazy, they'll just put in what about this, and they'll just go with whatever Google with AI does, or which has screwed up Google really.
But I read recently this month this AI is supposed to surpass humans in intelligence.
Yeah.
It's supposed to happen this month.
So yeah, right. There's that point they're all looking for, that where
Right.
yeah, where the balance is up. But now I felt this way about getting old. I thought, all right, well maybe if we're all getting older and we're all of an age, we'll get past race discrimination and we'll get past all the other discriminations because hey, we're all in the same boat, we're all getting older. Of course I was being very simplistic and idealistic, and it didn't work out that way. I mean, there's still ageism, but if it's AI versus humans, is that the thing that bridges us and makes us come together? That well, we got to fight the AI forces or the AI.
I think
AI.
I think I think that AI will never surpass humans because humans have eccentricity.
Hmm.
I think
Uniqueness, you mean,
well, I
or
mean,
just
they're unpredictable,
oh yeah.
like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh yeah, now she's for
You see,
healthcare.
you see. So you never. I mean, you never know with humans.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
and AI,
at
and
one
AI's got to
time,
be yeah.
at one time they were down to 36,000 people, but they managed to repopulate. So I don't think these machines will ever surpass humans.
Well,
But
they say
anyway, that's not in the play. The play
yeah.
uh, gives these so-called former slaves
Hmm.
personalities
Right.
and speaking lines.
You made
You
him
know,
human.
yeah, and I think that's as artists from different ethnic groups, as you are and as I am. We give we're able to have people from my background and characters talk back. I just left the Hirshhorn Museum
Yeah.
in D.C. where I was on a panel about Basquiat, Jean-Michel Basquiat,
Hmm.
and during this controversy about his relationship with Andy Warhol, the official line was that Warhol had saved his career or made him famous when it was the other way around. Now, Basquiat had a point of view,
Hmm.
which is never mentioned. So I went out and did research and found his point of view. So I think that's what we can do, is that we can use theater and we can use other poetry and other means that don't cost an arm and a leg. These plays have cost me a lot of money
Yeah. Oh
to
yeah.
talk back and to present another point of view.
Yeah. I get that. I mean, and it's clear that Joel Chandler Harris. I guess he used animals because what, blacks were considered subhuman.
No, that's because they were animal tales.
Oh, animal tail.
But he made, but I think he missed the point, even when recording these tales, is that these were actual subversive attacks on the institution. For example, a constant theme in these stories is about food insecurity.
Hmm.
The animals are take risks in trying to get extra food. And my reading of the relationship between the Joel Chandler Harris as a kid and Uncle Remus is that the kid was able to sneak food from the big house to him and supplement his diet because they weren't fed very well. As a matter of fact, Joseph Addison Turner recommended that blacks be deprived of meat during the war, the Civil War. So there are some serious issues. I mean, if you read it between the
Mhm.
lines,
Yeah.
there's some serious issues. Now, if you read the stories by the three authors I mentioned, the three Southern writers, as a black person, a black author reading these stories, I could tell that while the black figures are considered dumb and innocent, I could tell that these black characters are putting them on
Mhm.
and using different means to survive. You know,
Yeah.
I could tell that as another observer, as somebody who comes from, who's black and who knows the
Yeah.
history. I mean, my great great grandmother was a slave.
Mhm.
That close, that close. Lucy Hardeman in North Carolina. And these tales come to us uh, through the oral tradition. Now, that's one of the reasons I wrote these plays. This is part of a series. The first was Shine,
Mhm.
the Shine Challenge, which premiered in New York this year. And one of the reasons I wrote that is because I found three generations of blacks had forgotten these stories that have been passed down from generation to generation.
Right.
And these stories tell you how to survive. Matter of fact, I heard a Midge what's his name? Midge Yeserish. This guy on KPFA. He
Oh,
does
I
these.
don't know.
He did. Yeah, he's losing his show unfortunately, but he does these really in depth shows, about intellectual history. And he said that people, because of stories that have been handed down from generation to generation, people have been able to survive like floods and things because they were told what to do. They're very instructive.
Mhm.
So I think when you lose uh, these stories are very valuable because they tell you what your ancestors went through and how they dealt with their situation. And so I did Shine about the Titanic, about
Right.
the sinking of the Titanic. And as a matter of fact, you were in the play. Of course, you were.
Yeah.
You in the New York performance.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons I wrote that. Remind people that this is a story that was being lost. And the same with these tales. They could be lost.
They have to be written down. I
Right,
mean,
right,
I mean,
yeah,
at some point, it's not. I
right,
mean, unless people are actively passing them on generation
right,
to generation,
right.
and but right now, you have if you have the historical, the artifact, something
Mhm,
on paper or recorded,
mhm.
then uh, then there's evidence.
Right,
We were here.
right, right.
We had feelings. We had emotions. We did something.
But see,
So
what we do is we refashion them.
yeah.
That's what the black painters, are way ahead in this.
Mm.
I mean, in the 1960s, they began to invert these stereotypes, like Joe Overstreet's Aunt Jemima with a machine gun, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and Amir Baraka did that. You remember that old radio show, Jack Benny show?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He did Jack Benny show with the servants revolting
Yeah.
against Benny and stealing all the stuff and getting escaping.
Rochester.
Yeah, right,
Rochester.
right, right. Rochester's revolutionary in Baraka's play. So I'm in that same tradition with these stories,
Hey,
which are which are told in different ways. I mean, they're different variations. This
that
being the oral tradition, people
I'm not
do variations of these
yeah, I'm
stories.
not saying it's an improv, but there is like a format and then they just take it. They take
Right,
it.
right.
But now there's something in the play about the cycle. There's like these, like Joseph Campbell has his, hero's journey. I mean, what is the cycle that people go through? Like Bear Rabbit goes through a cycle where he's up and he's down, and is
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, I've written an ending to the play that you haven't seen yet,
Uh-huh. All right.
and we did a rehearsal with Jan about what happens after
Mm.
Sis Fox appears as his poker partner. So there's a last scene there that I've
I
written
see. Yeah.
that you haven't seen, but you'll see it next week. But the cycle goes on.
Mm.
So you know, Bro Rabbit is trapped by his enemies
Mm.
because he's always manipulating them. For example, there's a story about all these characters, Bro Bear and all of them building a house, and then Rabbit doesn't contribute much to the labor, but he occupies the house or something like that. He's always. So he gets trapped, and then he escapes into the briar patch.
Mm. Mm.
But he always gets away, and he always gets other animals to take the blame for something for his misdeeds. For example, there's a story in the play where Bro Rabbit. Well, of course, I updated.
Yeah.
But Bro Rabbit is stealing in the original story. Bro Rabbit is stealing Miss Reynolds' pigs. So in
Mm.
my version, he's stealing pigs and he's supplying Atlanta barbecue joints
Yeah.
wholesale, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't know, so she asks him to identify the person who's stealing the pigs. And so he goes to Mr. Bear's house, flatters him, and talks about how the ladies really love his singing. And he instructs him to say, "Nobody but me," every time he says, "Who stole the pigs?" So they go and then, and the bear thinks he's going to get a break in vaudeville or something like that. And he says, "Nobody but me." And Miss Reynolds fills him full of buckshots. But that's the way that he gets somebody else to take the blame for some mischief he created.
So,
At the end,
yeah.
you know, he's trapped again, but he has to find out some way to escape.
So Ishmael,
That's a cycle.
isn't
That's a cycle. It's
this?
that Joseph Campbell was a segregationist.
Yeah.
He said
Right.
he said there are even birds of species who do not interact with each other. Something like that. I remember that line.
So, for the theater goer, people who are curious, why should they see the Amanuensis, which is running on October 16th through 19th at Theater 33 in on 533 Sutter Street in San Francisco. You can get tickets at theater33.com or get tickets at the door. Why should people want to see this play?
Yeah, because they'll see in all our plays, we try to give roles to actors who don't get quality roles in television and theater, like Asian Americans,
Mm.
blacks. You know, uh, blacks are drug dealers.
Yeah.
Inexhaustible genre, as one critic said it. Inexhaustible genre. I mean, don't they get enough of that on the news? They get
Yeah.
that on the news, but they require that the theater cater to that kind of customer, somebody who likes to see blacks as drug dealers.
Mm.
But anyway, or prostitutes, the women,
Mm.
like Asian women are prostitutes, and Hispanic women, black women are prostitutes in these movies. And so we try to give minority actors and actresses roles that are fulfilling and roles that can develop their craft.
Yeah, I will say this, Ishmael. I have not had to do one martial arts move in any of the plays that you've cast me in. So that's a great thing
Mhm,
for an Asian thespian.
Great.
So, well, Ishmael, the Amanuensis, people, it's a staged reading, so it's it's in development.
Well, we do stage readings before we try to raise money to do full productions.
Mhm.
It's ironic that we can't get. It's very difficult. We don't get grants out here
Yeah.
in California. I don't know what it is. And the plays we've done in New York, some of them have been subsidized indirectly by the New York Council of the Arts. So in order for us to get grants,
Yeah, to do in New York.
do it in New York.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have a they have a high criterion. Mildred Howard, one of the great sculptors, was turned down by the California Council of Arts for a master's grant,
Mm.
internationally known. She was at the Biennale, and just famous, turned down. So I think the standards are very high. Matter of fact, you have to have binoculars to see them. They're high out
Well,
here. But anyway,
yeah.
other than that, this stage reading is like a near performance,
Mm.
and you can't beat the ticket price, $20. I mean, we lose thousands of dollars on every play we do. We lose thousands of dollars, and but it leads to other things. For example, we lost money on the haunting of Lin-Manuel Miranda in New York.
Mm.
But then this year it was done in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and they're going to do it again in Chattanooga. It arrived at the time Hamilton arrived in Chattanooga.
Oh, right. Good timing. Good
Yeah,
timing.
we've been stalking Hamilton all over the world and New Zealand and other places. So this is our fourth play this year. We did the shine. Excuse me. What am I?
Shine
The
challenge.
Shine Challenge in New
Yeah.
York, and we did.
The conductor.
Yeah, we did the no, we did Shine Challenge. We
Mm.
did the Haunting Lynn Manuel Miranda in Chattanooga.
Oh yeah.
We did Life Among the Aryans,
Oh yeah.
which
Yeah.
predicted the insurrection, and now we're doing this play, the Amanuensis in San Francisco, and then stage reading of this play will be done in December in New York. So
Oh
we got about 50 actors jobs plus the crew plus costume plus the whole thing, and we don't know, we have no debts.
yeah. Oh well, that's great. Well, listen, I am honored to not just talk to you here today, but also to just be included amongst your theatrical projects.
Hmm.
Uh, I. I really enjoy my role, and it fits me to a T. And as I said, no martial arts is displayed from this Asian
Well, I'll tell you
American.
what, in the scene following, you
Yeah.
may not enjoy your role in because
Oh, don't tell.
Brer Rabbit accuses you and Sis Fox of being in a conspiracy against her.
Oh my goodness. I,
that you both
thanks, Ishmael. Thanks.
that you both that both of you have degrees in pokerology
Oh my goodness.
from the
Okay.
University of Las Vegas, and he didn't know that.
Oh man. All right. All right. I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised. All right, Ishmael Reed. Uh, I'm looking forward to being in the play, and I'm looking forward. I hope people will take the opportunity to see a staged reading because it is you're part of the process. You're kind of like behind the scenes as this thing develops,
Mhm.
and it's at uh, Theater 33. You get your tickets at theater33.com and see it live at 533 Sutter Street in San Francisco. I guess that's sort of like the de facto theater district now in
I
San
don't. I have no
Francisco.
idea about. I haven't done a play in San Francisco in decades.
Well, 533 Sutter, second floor, Theater 33, the Amanuensis, Ishmael Reed's new play. Ishmael, thank you
Thank
for
you, and
being here
thank you, and
on my Emil Amok's Takeout.
thank
All
you.
right.
I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Ishmael. I appreciate it too. And there he goes, Ishmael Reed. Check it out, The Amanuensis, a stage reading at Theater 33, and get your tickets at theater33.com. $20 for, I mean, to see live people breathing on you. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that's entertainment, as they say. And to see this play written by a writer of Ishmael stature. And I say this, when I first met Ishmael, I was in a writers program, and I say this all the time. I mean, all the teachers there were saying, do you have to write about Filipinos all the time, Emil? And I said, well, yeah, maybe. And I was confused. And it was Ishmael who said, hey, put those Filipinos back in there. He's been putting Filipinos back in all his life and other people. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. The Amanuensis, October 16th through 19th. I'll write about it in my columns. You can check my columns out on, let's see, Inquirer.net, Oakland Post, maybe Substack. Check it out. Hey, Ishmael's just hanging around. Ishmael, I'll give you the last word, Ishmael. You want a last word?
Yeah, well, come to the theater. You know, even though a typhoon is headed this way.
Is it, is it typhoon headed this way?
I think the debris from a typhoon is heading this way this week.
All right, all right, all right. There he goes, Ishmael Reed, my friend. Check out the Amanuensis. Thank you for being here. Emil Guillermo here. Uh, check you out a little later. We'll do another issue. But if you missed any or all of this, just replay. It's short enough. Thanks for being here. Take care.